Hi everyone, welcome back to the Airing Austin YouTube channel where we talk about movies and play some video games. Today, we're here to talk about The Meg 2. Yes, we're on the second movie. This was a very weird film for me personally, just because I used to date an ex who was like religious about the first movie. I think she saw it about like 5 different times at the local movie theater in college, and it was just like this huge thing that was just a part of my life for about a couple of years. And so, yeah, The Meg 1 just was like this guilty kind of pleasure of mine, and I kind of enjoyed this one as well, not gonna lie. I didn't hate it, I didn't love it, but it was just a lot of fun. This movie knows exactly what it was, and I love when movies know exactly what they are, because that way they know exactly just how much of a limit that they can push to, and just about how far they know about how far they can fall, and they try to avoid that pit. Now that being said, this movie does in fact have a lot of pitfalls to it. There's a lot of characters in here that I really feel like they needed a lot of more fleshing out to do. Unfortunately, there just wasn't a lot of screen time to do so. The plot was very generic. Another thing is the villain, just obviously so cartoonishly evil, much like the first one, but like I said before, this movie kind of knows what it's going for. And if you told me before, like this Hollywood writer strike thing, like people could be this evil, I would say, no, people wouldn't risk other people's lives. Well, after seeing what's going on with the writer strikes and everything that Bob Iger has said, and just everything being unrealistic for writers, I mean, making as much as they do living in Los Angeles, and then what he said about their homes and houses and everything being taken away from them, like this movie is not too far off the mark in terms of villainy. So now we know, we can comprehend what the writers were thinking while writing movies like this. We kind of finally understand, oh, there are people who actually exist like this in the movie. And that's kind of scary to think about. Of course, Jason Statham is back as Jonas. He is your badass, typical hero. He is very much so just a Fast and the Furious style character throughout the majority of this film. Now, there are a few other actors in this film other than Jason Statham. There's Jing Wu. I just really enjoyed his character a lot. He was very funny, very dumb, he had a lot of plot armor in this movie, and unfortunately, he just didn't have a lot of time in the film to shine, but you could tell he was very much kind of second towards Jason Statham's character, which I kind of enjoyed. I loved seeing their dynamic together. I thought he was going to be some tech billionaire kind of boy until about maybe a quarter of the way through the movie. And yes, the first quarter of the movie, it's very just still. Like the waters are still. You're kind of waiting for the waves to come in. But about 1/4 through the movie, the plot, it just picks up so fast. And it's like, wow, this movie feels a lot like a video game. In fact, it like, I feel like I'm hitting the A button, the X button, and like the combinations to be able to dodge. This movie feels like a legitimate video game in the form of a movie. It's very backwards. Shuya Sophia Kai returns as Mei Ying, and I just, my gosh, adore her character, her little arc from being this timid little girl who wants to prove herself to Jason Statham's character, and then by the end of the movie, saving a few animals here and there. Yes, just kind of warmed up my heart so much. And last but not least, I just have to mention how much I enjoyed Paige Kennedy's comedic timing. It was a lot of fun. It felt like it needed to be in this movie. His performance was just needed, especially in a movie like this. It needed to take away from the seriousness and just have us recollect our thoughts, have us breathe a little bit. And I feel like that's what his character did for me. And so that's why I really, really enjoyed and dug his character as much as I did. As far as everyone else, they just kind of do their own thing and they just kind of exist in the background of the film, and that's about it. They do kill off a lot of characters who you think are gonna step up later in the movie, but unfortunately they just kind of like die one by one by one by one. And at first I thought to myself, wow, I really don't like this. They killed off this person and I kind of related to that person. And then it's like, wait a minute. If I was in this situation, that would happen to me as well. But the ways that they die in this film are just so goofy to me. It's basically like if a building snuck up on you and snatched you from a group without the group realizing. What? As someone who enjoys the craft of filmmaking and someone who studies films and just, likes to talk about movies like this kind of surprise me, genuinely, because I went into this knowing, of course, yeah, this movie's gonna be bad. And yeah, it's not the best film ever. However, it's still a fun time. This is like the definition of a popcorn flick. This movie was a lot of fun and it was made really well. The CGI was a lot of fun. Some of the lighting didn't match up with like the actual realistic scenes where the actors were portraying themselves in. Like the actors would be talking to each other like midday, and then all of a sudden, like, it's just sunset and they're still talking and it's like, oh, now it's midday again. Okay. And it's especially weird because in those sunset scenes, you can tell that is CGI. They couldn't mark it to look very similar to the scenes that they're already in, but that's really it. I'm talking way too much about lighting here. Let's go ahead and talk about the actual sharks, the creatures, the villains, the actual real villains of this movie, the threats. How are they in this film? Well, I actually kind of enjoyed them. I liked some of the designs. Some of them got scarred up. They look a little older, a little bit more menacing. And then of course, we're introduced to the lead Meg, which is the little baby Meg that they captured and put into captivity. And that's what really starts out the whole movie, is that this Meg, it's being kept in captivity. And of course, things go haywire, much like Jurassic World. How do humans not comprehend this or have any fail safes to prevent such things to happen? And I don't understand why Hollywood writes things like this over and over and over again. It gets kind of tedious. And in terms of story, this movie is pretty much the same as the first one. A bunch of guys, including Jason Statham, they're all trying to survive a Meg attack. And well, this time it's a little bit bigger, but that's genuinely it. That's all this movie is just a pretty similar sized in stature film in comparison to the first one. Usually with movies like this, you go bigger, you go larger. They kind of went just with more. I don't know if that makes sense, but they do differ for me. And if you watch the film, I think you'll kind of pick up on what I'm saying exactly. This movie was a pretty typical summer popcorn film. It was fun, it was dumb, it was stupid, but also just overly enjoyable. And would I recommend this movie? Maybe not in theaters. I'd say maybe check this one out on streaming when it comes out. The first one is on now Max. I was gonna say HBO Max, but gosh, that whole thing is just also very strange to me. Thank you so much for watching my movie review of The Meg 2, The Trench. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, leave a comment down below. And also, if you guys wanna watch some more videos, be sure to check out this one or this one right here. Otherwise, if you guys are new here, be sure to hit subscribe. We talk about movies every other week. We play games. It's a lot of fun. We do live streams. We also do some streams over on Twitch. My name is Austin, and I'll see you guys in the next one.